The hall of the Galactic Cultural Exchange Center buzzed with energy as representatives from every corner of the galaxy filled the expansive auditorium. Alien beings of all shapes, sizes, and colors were present. Some hovered, supported by anti-gravity technology. Others had multiple legs or wings that fluttered idly. An insectoid diplomat with shimmering exoskeleton plates tapped its antennae in anticipation, while a spherical robot with dozens of lenses adjusted its focus, capturing every detail of the event. The room was abuzz with a mix of excitement and curiosity, all directed at the center stage, where a lone human woman stood, accompanied by an unexpected companion. Dr. Sarah Collins, the human representative, smiled warmly at the crowd. Dressed in a sleek, silver uniform adorned with the insignia of the Galactic Council, she radiated confidence and poise. Beside her, sitting calmly and scanning the room with a sharp, alert gaze, was Max, a large German shepherd. His fur gleamed under the bright lights, and his posture was regal, almost as if he knew he was an ambassador of Earth himself. As Dr. Collins adjusted the microphone, a wave of murmurs rippled through the audience. The delegates exchanged puzzled glances and whispers. A tentacled being with 3 eyes swiveled its head towards a reptilian delegate, who hissed in surprise. The idea of bringing a predator onto such a prestigious stage seemed bizarre. To most of the galaxy's species, animals were seen as wild, untamed threats or, at best, simple livestock. What was a human doing with one by her side, and why did it appear so relaxed? "Good day, esteemed members of the Galactic Council," Dr. Collins began, her voice amplified across the hall. "Today, I'm here to introduce you to a unique aspect of Earth's culture, our pets." She gestured towards Max, who perked up his ears at the mention of the word, tail wagging slowly. "Meet Max, a German shepherd, one of Earth's most beloved and loyal companions." A digital screen behind her flickered to life, displaying a collage of images. Fluffy kittens playing with children, dogs lounging by their owners, and birds perched on human shoulders. The title Earth Pets, companions, family members, protectors hovered above the display. The aliens leaned forward, intrigued yet visibly confused. A chittering voice broke the silence. "Why do you keep such creatures in your homes?" It was an insectoid delegate, its mandibles clicking in sync with its speech. "Is this an act of dominance?" Dr. Collins chuckled, shaking her head. "No, not dominance. Partnership." She scanned the crowd, gauging their reactions before continuing. "On Earth, our pets are more than just animals. They are companions, part of our families. We share a symbiotic relationship with them. They provide comfort, protection, and emotional support." A robotic delegate, its voice a series of synthesized tones, interjected next. "Comfort? Protection? From these beasts? They're mere animals. How can they offer anything of value beyond physical tasks?" Dr. Collins projected a new image onto the screen. A video of a dog guiding a blind man across a busy street, followed by another clip of a cat snuggling up to a crying child, its purring slowly soothing the young one. The room fell silent as the delegates watched, their expressions a blend of disbelief and fascination. Even the reptilian delegate, who had been hissing softly in the background, leaned forward, intrigued despite itself. "The bond we share with our pets," Dr. Collins explained, "goes beyond utility. It's a relationship built on trust and affection. Max here, for example, would lay down his life to protect me, not because he is commanded to, but because he chooses to. It is a loyalty born from the deep connection we share." The reptilian delegate's scales shifted color, a sign of its skepticism. Why would any creature choose such loyalty? It makes no logical sense. Dr. Collins smiled knowingly. Perhaps it's something that cannot be fully explained with logic alone. It's a bond forged over millennia of shared survival and companionship. We see our pets as friends, and they see us the same way. The alien audience, while still perplexed, began to quiet down, their skepticism giving way to curiosity. The screen behind Dr. Collins displayed more images of humans and their pets. An astronaut floating in zero gravity with a cat, a soldier hugging a bomb-sniffing dog after a mission, a child giggling as a bird perched on her head. What I am trying to show you today, Dr. Collins continued, is that our relationship with our pets is one of the most defining aspects of humanity. It highlights our capacity for empathy, for forming connections with other beings, no matter how different they may seem. Max gave a soft bark, as if in agreement, drawing a few amused chuckles from the audience. For a brief moment, it seemed as though the barrier between species had begun to thin, replaced by a shared moment of understanding and warmth. And this was only the beginning of the presentation. Dr. Collins continued her presentation, her voice filled with enthusiasm as the screen behind her transitioned to a series of heartwarming clips. The first video showed a golden retriever bounding across a park, joyfully playing fetch with a young child. The dog's tail wagged furiously as it retrieved the ball, bringing it back to the child, who laughed gleefully. The next clip featured a cat, curled up in the lap of an elderly woman, purring softly as the woman stroked its fur. The audience watched in stunned silence, a ripple of disbelief passing through the sea of alien faces. The screen flashed with scientific data, highlighting the benefits of having pets: reduced stress, increased longevity, and improved mental health for their human owners. Dr. Collins elaborated, explaining how pets have become integral to human well-being, offering emotional support and companionship in ways even advanced technology could not replicate. A delegate from the Mechanoid Collective, a robotic species known for their purely utilitarian perspective, raised one of its many appendages. Its voice came through as a synthesized, monotone hum. "These creatures you display," it began, its lenses flickering in confusion. "Are they not slaves? They serve humans, provide tasks, and offer comfort. Is this not forced servitude?" Dr. Collins couldn't help but chuckle, a warm, genuine sound that seemed to ease some of the tension in the room. "No, they are not slaves," she replied. "They are beloved companions, family members, even friends. We don't keep pets because we want to dominate them. We share our lives with them out of love and mutual respect. They choose to stay with us, just as we choose to care for them." The mechanoid's lights flickered rapidly, a sign of deep processing. It seemed genuinely perplexed, as if trying to reconcile this strange concept with its own rigid, hierarchical worldview. The presentation continued, shifting to a clip of a group of therapy dogs visiting a hospital. The dogs, varying in size and breed, moved calmly through the hallways, wagging their tails as they approached patients. One patient, a child with a bandaged arm, reached out tentatively to pet a Labrador. The dog nuzzled the child's hand, eliciting a small, shy smile. The alien audience leaned forward, their focus completely captured by the scene. An avian delegate, covered in sleek feathers that fluffed up in agitation, squawked loudly. It belonged to the Keelari, a species that prided itself on stoicism and considered overt displays of emotion as a weakness. "You allow these predators into your homes to comfort your young and your injured?" it asked, incredulous. Its voice was high-pitched and filled with what sounded like a mix of shock and disapproval. "Is this not dangerous?" Dr. Collins nodded, acknowledging the delegate's concern. "Yes, it may seem unusual," she said, "but it's a testament to the trust we place in our pets and the trust they place in us. A bond built over thousands of years, starting from the days when humans and animals hunted side by side. Take dogs, for instance. They are descendants of wolves, but through generations of companionship, they have become protectors and caretakers." To illustrate her point, the screen displayed a video of a service dog alerting its owner, who was having a medical emergency. The dog barked frantically, drawing attention to its unconscious owner, and then used its body to keep the person warm until help arrived. The room fell silent, an almost palpable wave of realization sweeping through the audience. This was not the behavior of a slave, but of a devoted companion, acting out of genuine concern. A moment of silence lingered as the delegates absorbed this. Even the robotic entities, usually emotionless, had dimmed their lights as if in contemplation. The avian delegate's feathers smoothed down, a gesture of reluctant respect. It seemed they were beginning to understand, even if only a little. From the back of the auditorium, a young alien student raised a hand. Its species was small, with large, curious eyes that shimmered in shades of violet. The student's voice was soft, but filled with wonder. "Is this bond unique to humans?" it asked, its gaze fixed on Dr. Collins and Max. "Do other species not form such connections?" Dr. Collins paused, a thoughtful smile spreading across her face. "Perhaps the depth of our bond is unique," she said slowly. "But I believe it stems from our willingness to see the potential for friendship in everyone, no matter how different they may seem. We have a saying on Earth: a friend can come in any shape or size. We simply choose to extend that belief to all living beings, even those that do not look or think like us." Max, sensing a lull in the conversation, gave a soft, friendly bark, almost as if punctuating her point. A ripple of amusement spread through the crowd, some of the alien delegates even letting out what could only be interpreted as laughter. The rigid expressions and skeptical glances had softened, replaced by something else, a mixture of intrigue, understanding, and for some, a newfound admiration for the human spirit. In that moment, the presentation had shifted from a simple cultural exchange to something more profound. The alien audience was no longer just learning about pets. They were glimpsing the very essence of what made humanity unique: a boundless capacity for empathy, a willingness to love without expecting anything in return, and the ability to form connections that transcended barriers of language, appearance, and even species. The room was buzzing with a new energy as Dr. Collins transitioned to the next part of her presentation. The screen behind her shifted to a clip of a helicopter rescue operation in the midst of a raging flood. The footage zoomed in on a German shepherd, harnessed and lowered from the helicopter into the dangerous, swirling waters. The dog swam with determination, reaching a trapped family stranded on the roof of a car. With a series of barks and nudges, the dog guided the family to safety, clinging to debris until rescuers pulled them all up to safety. The alien audience watched in stunned silence, some leaning forward in their seats, as if they couldn't believe what they were seeing. Dr. Collins turned to face the crowd, her expression one of calm pride. "This is Max, one of many search and rescue dogs who risk their lives to save others, human or otherwise. In times of disaster, when technology can fail us, these animals step in with their instincts and unwavering loyalty. They are not just pets, they are heroes." A reptilian delegate from the Thalassian Empire, known for its warrior culture, rose from its seat. Its scales shimmered under the bright lights, and its voice came out in a deep, hissing tone. "You speak of their loyalty and bravery," it began, "but what of their use in combat? Are they not strategic assets in your wars?" Dr. Collins nodded, acknowledging the question. "Historically, dogs have been used in warfare," she admitted, "but not as mindless tools. In past conflicts, they detected explosives, served as messengers, and helped with search and rescue missions under fire. Today, while they can still perform such roles, we honor them as partners rather than tools of war." The screen shifted to a somber, black and white video of a military ceremony. A soldier, kneeling in front of a gravestone, placed a medal on it. Next to him, a dog lay quietly, staring at the stone with what could only be described as a look of mourning. "This is K9 Sergeant Rex," Dr. Collins explained softly. "He saved dozens of lives during his service, detecting hidden explosives and alerting his unit. He was awarded the same honors as any human soldier, because to us his bravery and sacrifice were no different." The hall went quiet, the usual murmur of alien voices replaced by a profound silence. The Thalassian delegate, known for its harsh critique of anything non-combatant, slowly lowered its head in what appeared to be a gesture of respect. The alien audience, once filled with skepticism, was now grappling with a new understanding. Humans did not just utilize their animals, they revered them as comrades. The presentation continued with a series of clips showcasing the intelligence of various Earth animals. The first showed a parrot solving a complex puzzle, twisting and turning pieces until it unlocked a hidden treat. The camera zoomed in on the parrot, who gave a triumphant squawk, clearly aware of its own success. The next clip featured a dolphin, communicating with a human trainer using a series of clicks and whistles, performing synchronized movements with almost uncanny precision. A group of analytical alien delegates from the Zelterra Consortium, a logic-based species known for their advanced problem-solving abilities, leaned forward, their data tablets out, furiously scribbling notes. One of them, a being with a crystalline head that glowed when it spoke, raised a hand. These creatures, it said, its voice a melodic hum, demonstrate significant cognitive abilities. They solve puzzles, communicate, and even appear to learn. Are they as intelligent as humans? Dr. Collins smiled, pleased by the interest. Not in the same way, she replied, but their intelligence is remarkable in its own right. Parrots, for example, can understand hundreds of words, and some dolphins have been taught to recognize complex hand signals. Their intelligence is different. It's adaptive, instinctive, and sometimes startlingly perceptive. The screen shifted to the final clip, showing a cat staring out of a window moments before a small earthquake began. The cat bolted from the room, yowling in a way that seemed to warn its owner, who quickly followed. The camera shook violently for a moment, then steadied as the quake ended. The owner was seen kneeling beside the cat, whispering words of gratitude. Dr. Collins turned back to the audience. Cats are known for their sensitivity to changes in the environment. In many cases, they've sensed natural disasters before any human technology could. The aliens exchanged glances, their disbelief turning into visible awe. They had arrived expecting to see cute, perhaps amusing, examples of Earth's wildlife. Instead, they were witnessing examples of strength, intelligence, and bravery that many had never expected from what they considered mere domesticated animals. Dr. Collins paused, allowing the impact of her words and the visuals to settle over the room. You see, she said, her voice taking on a deeper, more resonant tone. On Earth, even our pets embody the spirit of survival and adaptability. They are not just creatures we keep for amusement. They are our partners, our friends, and sometimes our saviors. The alien audience sat in stunned silence, processing what they had seen and heard. For perhaps the first time, they began to understand a core aspect of humanity that had eluded them until now. The human ability to see value and potential in every living being, and to form bonds that transcended utility or necessity. It was a lesson in empathy, partnership, and mutual respect, one that left a lasting impression on all who witnessed it. The room, once filled with skepticism and muted laughter, now buzzed with a sense of quiet reflection. Dr. Collins stood at the podium, allowing a few moments of silence before inviting the audience to ask questions. Alien hands slowly rose into the air, their initial reluctance replaced by a genuine curiosity. She nodded to a delegate seated near the back, an elderly alien with a weathered face and a hunched posture. This was Eldranok, a respected elder of the Vascari, a species known for their long history and deeply analytical nature. Eldranok rose to its full height, using a walking staff for support. It had been one of the more critical voices at the start of the presentation, clearly dubious about the significance of Earth's domesticated creatures. Now, however, its expression had softened, and its tone carried an unexpected gentleness. I must admit, it began slowly, its voice like the creaking of old wood. I found your presentation perplexing at first. I could not comprehend why a species would choose to live so intimately with predators, to keep them as family. Eldranok paused, its large eyes shimmering with a distant, almost sorrowful look. Long ago, my people had a bond with creatures of our world, not unlike the one you share with your pets. But over time, as we advanced, we lost that connection. We saw no use for it and let it fade into history. The room fell silent, a shared moment of melancholy hanging in the air. Delegates from all corners of the galaxy exchanged looks, some nodding in quiet understanding. It was a rare moment of vulnerability in the often politically charged atmosphere of the Galactic Council. Dr. Collins met Eldranok's gaze, her smile gentle and understanding. Perhaps, she said softly, Humanity's relationship with its pets is a reminder of something that goes beyond utility or advancement. It's a bond that speaks to the potential for friendship and trust, even between beings who are vastly different. The screen behind her changed, displaying a final image, a montage of scenes from Earth. It showed a young child hugging a large, fluffy dog, an elderly woman sitting in a sunlit garden with a cat curled up on her lap, a hiker resting on a mountain trail with a loyal dog at his side. The images captured moments of pure, unspoken love and companionship. The alien audience watched, some blinking their eyes slowly in what seemed to be an attempt to hold back emotions, while others simply sat in awe, the disbelief of earlier replaced by a deep, quiet respect. A delegate from the Ithorian Coalition, a species known for their intense pragmatism, stood up. It had been one of the more vocal critics earlier, but now its tone was softer. "Your presentation was enlightening," it admitted. "We had assumed humans were strong because of their technology and resilience, but now we see that your strength lies in something far deeper, in your ability to form bonds and find allies, even among creatures that others would dismiss as insignificant." Dr. Collins inclined her head in gratitude. "I'm glad you see it that way," she replied. "I hope this glimpse into our world encourages the Council to reconsider the potential of interspecies relationships, not just between sentient beings, but with all forms of life. Perhaps it's a lesson we can all learn from." As the session drew to a close, a small group of alien delegates approached the stage, visibly eager to speak with Dr. Collins. One of them, a tall, insectoid creature with delicate antennae, hesitated before asking, "May we meet Max?" The German shepherd, who had been sitting quietly at her side the entire time, perked up at the sound of his name. His ears flicked forward, and his tail began to wag gently. Dr. Collins gave a nod, stepping aside to let the aliens approach. They moved cautiously, clearly unsure of how to interact with a creature they had initially perceived as a dangerous predator. Max, however, seemed to sense their hesitation and stepped forward, offering a friendly bark and a nudge with his nose. One by one, the aliens reached out, tentatively touching his head, his fur soft under their hands. A small, round alien with eyes like saucers let out a surprised chirp as Max licked its hand, a smile forming on its alien face. The moment was a simple one, yet profound. It was as if a barrier had been lifted, the divide between species narrowing in an instant of shared affection and trust. The hall, which had begun in confusion and skepticism, now felt filled with something far more meaningful, a sense of connection that transcended language, biology, and culture. As the delegates began to file out of the hall, many stopped to speak with Dr. Collins, asking how they might learn more about Earth's pets, or even requesting more information on how such bonds could be fostered on their own worlds. Max, now the unexpected star of the presentation, sat happily beside his human, enjoying the attention and giving the occasional wag of his tail. The scene fades out, and a narrator's voice brings the story to a close. In the end, it wasn't just the strength or intelligence of humanity's pets that left an impression on the Galactic Council. It was the love and loyalty shared between humans and their companions. A simple, profound bond that spoke volumes about the potential for friendship in the galaxy. Perhaps it was not just the strength of humans that made them remarkable, but their capacity to find friends in the most unexpected places, a trait that might just change the galaxy, one wagging tail at a time. The story concludes on this hopeful note, leaving the audience with a sense of warmth and a reminder that sometimes the smallest gestures can have the biggest impact. The presentation, once intended as a lighthearted showcase of Earth's pets, had instead become a powerful lesson in empathy and the unifying power of love.